work. Okay. So why the YouTube is put us on live, I will divide us in a few minutes, like just to say hi to YouTube. So I think that now we are on live. So hi YouTube. So today we are going to talk about a deep topic that I had this idea on the last immersion that oh, I forgot, the Yanka said that you have to discuss about ideal model of society, to discuss other topics, So I think this will be our start point to discuss furthermore more deeper topics. So I am going to divide us into breakout rooms, like I said before. So let me see here. Um, okay. So when at the end of the immersion, like 10 minutes until the finish, I will bring you everybody to the main room so we can see how was the discussion, okay? So let me see here. Okay, guys, I will put you in breakout rooms, and after that, we will discuss all together, okay? Have a nice conversation, guys. Okay. So we are here in I think, I don't know if Erica saw the invite, but okay. So we are in the main room, and I think that can you read for us the first question, please, Sidney?
Okay. Okay. The first question is, if you were designing society behind a veil of ignorance, not knowing your gender, race, wealth, talents, etc., what basic liberties and rights would you insist all citizens must have? Well, for me, I think firstly, to have access public health care system. I think it's also linked about the health and the lifespan, the life expectancy of the people. So I think nowadays we can see clearly that just the rich people, the people have a lot of money, a good financial condition. They have access to this kind of a good health care insure, and our public healthcare system is not so good. It There are a lot of factors that led it in this condition, but I think the first could be it. I think secondly, to have access a health food and nutrition and health food. And I think nowadays, especially when we live in a kind of financial problem or economic crisis, the people used to waste their not to waste to spend their money in things like to pay their rent, to pay a lot of things. I think they they don't have in order to choose to pay this kind of things, rest just a few money for them to spend in their food, and they used to eat a lot of processed food that affect directly their healthy, I think their body health and mental health as well. So to have access for nutrition and the health and affordable food. And secondly, could be the third could be that good education. So another thing that we can see clearly and divide our society about the poor people and the rich people and about it's about the education. So Of course, we have a public education, but it's not most of the schools had a lot of problems. I think infrastructure problems. I think problems about teacher. I think to provide at least the basic for to the children, for the students. So I think to have access this kind of rights, a good education, I think is mandatory for me to raise equal to raise our equal society.
I totally agree with your 3 points, and we already can see that we are not living in a fair society, right? Because we have, like, as you mentioned, it's important to have these 3 points, but it's not a perfect, how can I say, like, the public schools are not good enough, as you said before, as you mentioned. So just in the first question, we can wondering if we are in a fair society to live, right? So how about you, Marcio? What do you think about it?
Yeah, I think he basically limits and rights on the view of ignorance. And everyone should have, number one, equal basic liberty, and number two, reliable access basic needs, and universal basic educations, and protections about the society. And yeah, because Brazil really rich, about the uh, opportunity, about the um, very opportunity in Brazil for me. But equal basic liberty here, unfortunately, really hard. And because I see every day, unfortunately. And basic, yeah, really about access to basic needs. For example, clear weather and food security, for example. Yeah, really basic here, unfortunately. For example, to universal basic educations here. Yeah, it's depend on me, of course. It depend the people, of course. Universal basic educations, and because here there are a lot of opportunity about the basic education. Yeah, but basic here, unfortunately, really basic. But yeah, it's depend on me. When I see basic education really good, so or yeah, I will go to practice and study, learning about the university basic, and because I don't know, em inglês, nós sempre culpamos outras pessoas, politics, for example, and society, for example. É, nós temos esse grande erro, I don't know say English, culpar outras, community, for example, but it's depend on me, because I said Brazil really rich about, yeah, education, land, food, and a lot of things, for example. But security here, um, really basic, unfortunately, too. So, yeah, because this it's depend on me, I said. And for example, in my point, everyone should have first equal basic liberties, and that's it.
Oh, nice. So just to see if I get it, how us can provide to, like you say, that these basic things depend of us, right? Like, do you say that the education depend of you, right, or not? It's what I
Yeah,
understand.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's depend of me.
Okay,
Yeah, of
so
course.
how can you and like food too? Like as you said before, or not? Just the education.
Yeah, too. Food too, because, for example, I really like to talk in Portuguese. I don't know, say in English. And I like this word. Nós precisamos descascar mais e desembalar menos, for example. Because this food, I really like to talk about this word in Portuguese. Really educations, for example, food education, security education,
Okay.
and
Oh,
because my health.
oh, go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, that's it. For example,
Oh,
uh, coffee without sugar, really so good for me. Yeah, food security for me, in my point.
okay, I understand. So the basic thing to get it out, I think, is the education, right? Because education about your food, about the basic thing, it's the education. I think all we agree of it. So I get it. And can you read for us the second question, please, Marcy?
Yeah. Should society aim from strict quality, everyone gets this sum, or fake equality of opportunity, everyone has an equal chance, but outcomes may differ. Why? Mm, fair quality of opportunity is preferable, you know, and for me. So, and yeah, strict equality for overcoming ignorance, difference, and preference for me. Uh, talent and choice. And yeah, fair quality of opportunity is preferable. And so yeah, it's depend the people, of course, preferable in my point. And so to study or to practice any area, for example, and quality and opportunity is preferable.
I agree with you because it's not everybody that pursue uh like in an environment of work. You know that each person has your own how can I say ability, has your own desire of achieving something more, and you see some people that don't want to achieve something more. And I think that the fair equality of opportunity, it's like more fair because you see what the person want, because if you give a lot of someone that don't want it, it doesn't worth anything. So I think, okay, we have the same um point of started point. We have this we call starting point, but the outcome will be different because it's depend of you. It's not about the government anymore. So, what do you think, Sydney?
Yeah, I totally agree with you, and I think both of that. I think firstly, there is no perfect model, so both of them have has a negative and the positive points or sides. But I think the first one is street equality. I think it would affect a lot directly how the society and the people develop. Like you said, it sounds for me a kind of a socialist model, or communist model that everyone have the same thing, the same money, and it will not incentive or contribute to the people develop, because if you work, for example, 10 hours or 15 hours, or let's say 10 hours per day, and someone works maybe 5 hours, you and this guy will have the same rights, the same money. So it sounds for me a kind of uh, disadvantage or inequality. But I think that the second one, it's more proper. I think it fit more our society. Like you said, with this, I think everyone has a different perspective, different ideas, different objectives. So if you have objective, for example, to buy a car or a house, you do things in order to achieve these objectives. So for those that want to work less because they don't want to get a lot of worries. They can do that as well, but to be mature enough that there are pros and cons about the decisions. So I think that the second one, it's more equal. I think it's more fair.
Yeah, if you stop to think like you said, if everybody earn the same thing, but with different time of work or effort, I think the people want to work more. Will be have a barrier to like limiting the people to work because, like you said, if why I would be a doctor to spend 10 years of studying if I can do other thing that I can, okay, just study 2 years for it. It's not something that engage us to pursue something greater. It's just something that, okay, I'm okay with my comfort zone, so I get you and I agree with you too. So let's go to the third one. I will read this one for us to discuss. And what role should redistribution via taxation, social welfare, public service play in your ideal society? Up to what points is it justifiable or unjustifiable to limit people's property or income? This is a great one because it has this debate about, okay, I have to tax more rich people or to redistribute or not. I think it in a way can work, but if the government uh, don't be corrupt, don't be corrupt because like if you think, okay, I will take this money of the rich person and give to the poor one, but in this process the government don't distribute to the poor people. They just take for themselves and the inequality keep the same. So if we have in the future a government that it's really repass this money, I think that this can work, but it's in the real life is not what we can see. In the with this action, I just see a society that become more poor because you take of the richest one, and the poor one will be the same. So I don't think in our government, in our society, actual society, this can work. How about you, Sydney?
Yeah, Lara, I strongly agree with you. I think taxation, I think this kind of model are discussing, debating a lot our society, especially among young people. I think because we can see clearly that it's, especially in the Brazil government or society, it's a little unfair in terms of that we cannot see the this money returned for us, for our society. We can see it returned for noble areas, or rich people that, for example, in the areas that the rich people live, we can see that asphalt is very in a good condition. There are policemen, I think, make their security, make this kind of place safe. We can see all these things works better in this place, but in suburban areas, in poor areas, we can see that the inequality is a reality for the 100% of the people. But I think in a perfect society, it could work, but I think, like you said, we live in a society that corruption is make part of our day to day, and so it affects a lot how how we see the government, how we see this process, and also there is a kind of obscure forces that want us to, for example, to take our rights and they give it for the rich people. For example, I know that some government programs have some failures. For example, the Bolsa Família, but it's the best thing, the best program we have to help the poor people. We know that there are some people that used to they frequently use this to take advantage of others. For example, they have a condition to maintain themselves, but they used to take this money from the government in a illegal way. But it happens all in all the programs. Because, like we are discussing, we live in a corruptive society, but we know that, for example, in nowadays we can see richest people like Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, Bill Gates. Their wealthy is increasing without limits. But like you said, the poor people, they are becoming poor, maybe poor. So it's a kind of thing that it starts to I think to give us some insights that if we are living, if you have another system that could fit our necessities, but just the rich and the powerful people have power to maintain or to change it. But if it fitting their desires and their necessities, this will remain for forever, in my opinion.
Nice to know your opinion, Sidney. And what do you think, Márcio?
So I think distributions should ensure can meet basic needs and access opportunities. For example, education, for example, healthcare and security here in Brazil, of course. For example, equal opportunity for me really necessary. Yeah, I said I like said and it depends, Yeah, and here there are a lot of good opportunities. Yeah, of course, and free, you know. And so, but the need is basic needs and access opportunities, and there are a lot of here in this our countries, educations and healthcare and security. Unfortunately, here really bad, you know. And yeah, I see equal opportunity for me really important. Yeah, that's it.
I think, like in my model of society, I would like that like the big companies like Sidney said that Amazon of Jeff Bezos, they take a part of contribute to society. Like nowadays, what we have is the big companies, the company in general, they pay tax for the government, and the government do something to society. I think this can be directly, So, and the company has to prove that they are investing in some programs on the to society. It don't pass through the government. For at least for me, what I think that would be better for us because we can actually see if the money are coming for us or not, because if the government want to say that the money is it's how can I say, it's going to other place of the country, you cannot uh disagree with that, because we can't have this acknowledgement so clear to us, right? So I think this way we can have better access of this money source, so it's what I think. And can you read for us the fourth question, please, Sidney?
Okay, let me see. How would your ideal society deal with people who, by choice or circumstance, do not or cannot contribute fairly? Example, due to disability, personal failing, or other disadvantage. What is owed to them? I would say that, like you said, think about the big companies. I think how big this company are. I think more they will contribute for some for some money for their society. Thinking in the Brazil country, I think it's a developing country, so many companies decided to base here in order to take advantage our natural resources, about our the how can I say the cheap labor. I think the cheap workers. I think they used to get a lot of money, to make a lot of money here, and then send it for their headquarters, for the country they are based. So I think firstly the Brazil must change the law and obligate this kind of company to return a kind of money here to invest in our society, invest in the environment that they used to destroy. Talking about some areas like mining. I think about people. We already today have a kind of process to upgrade them to contribute a little for the society to the society, like the tax on their outcomes, like imposto de renda. So not it's important to we know that there are kind of unfair things that the poor people they still contribute more than others. But I think, let me see, yeah, well, maybe obligate them through, for example, through the company that must retain a kind of money from their incomes, their salary. I think today we have taxes about everything, so especially on our properties, like our vehicles, our apartments, our houses. So I think I don't know if it could be a fair or fair, depend on the point of view of each one. But I will continue to do it, maybe with a percentage. I think the big problem is about how the government deal with these taxes. They used to give benefits for richest companies in order to return it for the poor people. I think some companies they used to pay less money, less taxes than, for example, small companies, that don't have this kind of connection with the government. They don't use give government a money to how can I say, to support it, you know? So we can see that some companies, they have a kind of connections with the government and they have advantages on it as well. So I think that's it.
So just to me know more about your opinion, Sidney. Like, if the person, like in the fourth question, the person born with a condition that cannot work, you think that this action in big company can contribute to take a place of the contribution that this person cannot do? Like we take our money for to the richest one, and this can contribute to the person that cannot like work, have some problems. What do you think?
And I think so. I think that's it. But I think we must have a kind of process to certificate that these guys, they don't have that proper condition to work, and then make I think to regulate or adjust this process to I think to get that money that they can return for these people. You know, I think it would be a more a fair process.
Okay, I get it now. Nice, Sidney. And what do you think, Márcio?
Wow, really hard about the questions from me. People who cannot contribute due to disability, age, or bad luck. Yeah, here in Brazil, there are a lot of tax. Yeah, really hard to answer this question. But in my point, always respecting human dignity, for me. Yeah, but unfortunately, here there are a lot of tax. I don't know about the contribute your disability, age, or another phrase, word, but my point, always respect the human dignity for me. Depend the age, depend the cultures, and depend the um, place, always respect the human dignity for me, and really so important. But here I said there are a lot of tax, and I don't know why, but there are a lot of, and so yeah, respecting human dignity for me really so important.
Yeah, I think this can have to must to be a base of the society, respect the humans, the dignity, and it's a hard topic to discuss even in Portuguese, imagining in English, because sometimes we can in Portuguese we try to express our opinion. In English we have the problem that it's in this topic that have some I don't know how can I say, but it's difficult to discuss. We try to not be misunderstood, right? Because it's a hard theme to discuss. But I am understand you guys, and it's great because I think all person have the ideal model in their minds, and I think we have a lot of common things in our minds too. But I don't know why people just let it go and just to don't, how can I say, don't create this society in real life, because it's so distant, and I think everybody know what's wrong or what is good. I think it's not the problem know what is good and what is not, but to just to create put the hands on like puts the hands to work, and to create the society, because it's have to to do. Every person have to do their part of the job, but some people just don't want to take a effort of this. So nice, guys. A nice discussion. And can you read for us the five one, please, Márcio?
Okay. Would your ideal model allow for no-ideal practice, e.g., affirmative actions, quotas, reparations, to correct pets or structural injustice? How would you justify them under Houseian principles? Let me see. Yes, and for me, no ideal measures can be justified to correct history and structural injustice that continue to skill opportunity. Yeah, for me, to skill opportunity, it's correct histories and structural injustice. That's it.
I think that it's okay. We have quotas, but I think this have to be um, put like in the basic education, like when the person are young. Like I don't think that is enough. We have quota on university because the person like the born with inequality situation condition will pass through this until get to the university to get better opportunities. I think this have to be done like the person it's a children, like so in a primary school. I think there has must to be have to do quotas, but I don't think in university it's a correct time for it, because this person already passed through a lot of um, disadvantage in this life. I don't think it's a quota on university will help them, but it's a try, it's a option, but I don't think it's in a time correct. And how about you, Sydney?
Yeah, I totally understand you a lot. I think to get to university, I think the poor people they passed for I think, a lot of difficult situation that affect their uh, education, I think their mind and things like that. I think we live in a pro-slavery society. I think slavery it finished just some maybe decades ago, but we continue to see this kind of inequality, in our society. Even when we work in a company, we can see there are some discrimination, not just about the some minority group, but that poor people that they used to work so much in order to achieve a kind of objective that the rich people they born with a great wealthy, a great amount of money. But I think quotas, yeah, quotas, there are a lot of discussion about it. There are some people that are favor or that they are against it. I think reparations for some past things, to correct some past things. Yeah, I don't know exactly. I think that I don't know how much money the government used to spend, to maintain this kind of programs, these quotas. I think maybe, like you said, to I think to change it in order to give the people to invest in the schools and give for the people. I think that a good or at least a reasonable basic education. I think it will help them to improve their mind, their knowledge, and I think to get a better life. I'm maybe well, mm, yeah. there is no ideal model. I think what we know and our background, I think affect a lot our experience, affect a lot our answer about these questions. Yes, that's it.
It's hard to create a ideal model because we have a lot of problems to solve, you know. It's hard to imagine all of them. And about quotas, like as I'm studying to get in university, I can say it's really hard in Brazil how it works because I'm not in a I'm not part of a rich family, but also I don't allowed to apply to quotas, so I have this. I'm not including any part. So I had the disadvantage of not being rich, but I don't have the advantage to because I'm not poor, you know, like I'm not poor enough, and it's hard because you have a great percent of how can I say, but vagas in university. So I think it's 25%, if I'm not wrong, to people that don't had a good condition and in different kinds. And it's hard. It's get more hard to pass without a quotas, you know. And as me that I didn't born in a rich family, I think that I have two times a disadvantage, you know, because the government can't embrace everyone to be on quotas, but I think that inequality it's so big in Brazil that even the middle class is like it's not the real middle class, you know, it's just poor too. And this is it's sad actually, but it's a lot of things that you have to solve in a ideal model, right? So it's a tough
Yeah,
conversation.
yeah. Like you said, I think the middle class people they used to suffer more because, like you said, they don't have so much money, but the taxation on them is so high because the government used to consider them that have a condition, a good condition to pay the taxes. But when you see that the percentage of the taxes is the same about the rich people. So the rich people, they can pay it without problem, and the poor people, they have this kind of advantage to pay less taxes, and the middle class families, they they used to be in a, I think in a worse place in this process.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And like we have a high inflation, so the salary keep the same, and the middle class, it's like just lo losing the capacity to buy things, you know. I can
Yeah,
see like I see in my family because I'm thank God that I'm not poor, you know. I never struggling with not of the basic things, but we not are the able to buy whatever we want on the
yeah,
supermarket, you know. But it's hard. It's a hard thing because we have different people suffering with different problems, and it's hard to embrace all the different problems, all the different people in a ideal model. I think it's why uh, we have the society that we have because people it's hard to have this empathy to understand what the people it's going on passing through. And yeah, it's really hard, guys, to have this conversation, but it was really nice. Really
yeah.
it's always nice to hear your opinions, and I will bring back the guys on the room. Let
Yeah.
me close our rooms. Okay, let me see here. Okay, 30 seconds. I think they will be here. It's
Yeah,
nice.
but I'd like to say thank you for your topic, Lara. It's always a good, interesting, and I think knowledgeable topics that I think incentive us to discuss. You know, it's to make part of our day-to-day life.
Yo, thank a lot. I think this too, like I think this return the feeling of being a citizen, have
Yeah.
this part of the discussion at least for one moment, right?
Yeah.
So, Osvaldo and Aparecida, how was the conversation? Did you guys be able to create a ideal model of society, or it was hard?
Go ahead, Aparecida, the lady.
Well, it was so hard, this kind of questions. It's a big topic to talk during days, months, because it's our structural problems are biggest. We're talking about some one of them, but it's so interesting talking about this kind of topics to force us to thinking about deeply in what we are living nowadays in our society. It's an interesting topic, and we think a lot and talk about this deeply too.
Yeah, we
That's
could.
right.
Yeah, we
Go ahead,
could
Osvaldo.
discuss a little bit about the governments, the way that they manage the people have some kind of disease or some um, the way that they manage the retirement, something like that, you know. It was a good conversation. But Lara, you were crazy, I guess. The question are was so hard to understand. A lot of new words to me, you know. My tongue got twisted, you know, to try to say that words, you know.
I should to bring a vocabulary list about the questions too. I think, like I tried to have at least a contest in the question to people that who didn't see the video, But I confess, for me too, I was like always in the chat GPT to understand what is the word means. But I think that we can have in this immersion we can understand other vocabularies and learn, I
For
think it's nice.
sure. It was a joke. It's a good way to do that.
But so in our room we're discussing about it, and we find this hard to discuss because it's so many problems to solve, right? And we have to create an ideal model that embrace all the different people, all the different problems, and it's really hard. And Marcio said, bring a point of view that I think for everyone agree with this, that education is a foundation of a society, right? We need education for everything, and also has something that depend of us and something that depend of the government. So it was really nice. And Sydney was talking how it's like our society tax in an unfair way the people, right? So we have this discussion, and it was really nice. And I bring the topic like about quotas, and I said about how middle class can be can struggle in this society because we have the disadvantage of not being rich, but we also have the disadvantage of not being poor because we don't have these benefits, and we are in the middle class. But I think middle class in Brazil, in other countries like in USA, is the poor class, I think we have this different point of view. But it was really nice, a really nice conversation, guys. And as I said, I think we can create a scenario that we can participate more in this democracy. I don't see this debate, a respectful debate on social medias, unfortunately. But like in 1 hour, we can discuss a lot, So I'm really happy and glad to have you here today, guys. It was really nice. So I think that we finished for today. 4 minutes, but early. But it's it, guys. I hope that I can bring other tough team for the next week, and I hope that you guys will be prepared for it.
Okay. Thank you, Lara. Thank you, everyone.